it's Shannon Marin here with another episode of Second Home Vacation Location. And today I have the pleasure of talking with Gordon MacAlpine, who is in Playa del Carmen, Mexico, and he's going to tell us all about it. Hi, Gord. How's it going?
Good, Shannon. How are you? Welcome to my paradise.
Yes, it looks like paradise there. I see the beach and the ocean in the background there.
Yes, this is a complex called Mar Azul at the north end of Playa del Carmen. It's in a gated community, 300 units, beautiful beach, a huge pool, beach club, full service restaurant. The units are all 170 square meters or bigger. And you can get a 2-bedroom, about a 7-minute walk from the beach for $423,000, or you can be beachfront for like 1.2 million.
Well, that's an option too now, isn't it?
It's a beautiful property.
Yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong, but from what I hear now, it's hard to find things that are that close to the beach.
There is not a lot of beachfront property available. As we weave our way back to some sort of normalcy, what is attracting buyers down here is beachfront property and areas where digital nomads can come and work remotely. So those are the type of developments that we're seeing as we move on from the pandemic.
Right. Okay. Yeah, very much. I heard that Playa del Carmen is really an area that attracts the digital nomads because there's good internet service there.
Yes, for sure. Anywhere, Playa del Carmen, Tulum is a haven for digital nomads, and there are lots of new developments down there. One of the attractive things about considering purchasing in this area is the infrastructure that's already in place. There's a 4-lane highway from Cancun Airport all the way down to Tulum. There's a high-speed train that should be completed sometime in 2024, and Tulum is getting its own airport. So it's going to be a great place to invest and a great place to live. I saw an article today saying that Americans who have moved here is up 32% compared to before the pandemic. So that's a huge number, and we're seeing more and more of that with people who want to get out of the big cities and want to come down where they can relax, live a nice, relaxed lifestyle. The cost of living is a lot lower, and you got the beach, and you got the sea, and you got the cenotes, you got everything you need.
Yeah, why wouldn't you? I saw a post on Facebook this week that said moving to Mexico is the new American dream. You know.
Yes, living in Playa del Carmen for 7 years now, I've met people in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s who love it here, and they're all expats from all over the United States, all over Canada, Europe, and things like that. I know people who come down here for 6 months in the winter and work, and then they go back to their home in Canada for 6 months in the summer and work. So they get the best of both worlds. But I never did like shoveling snow, so now I'm glad I'm here.
And where were you from originally, Gord?
I grew up in Montreal. I lived in Prince Edward Island for 12 years. I lived in Alberta for almost 30. My original career was as a sports reporter with CBC Radio. So I traveled all around the world covering sporting events. Then I had a very successful career in the waste and recycling industry. And 7 years ago, I wanted to go on a bit of a life adventure. So I packed everything up and moved to Mexico, and I haven't regretted it for a second. There have been challenges, no doubt, but I'm now a permanent resident, very happy about that, and loving life in paradise.
That's excellent. That's great. So there's still a lot of myths out there about buying in Mexico. I hear a lot of people saying to me, "Oh, you can't buy near the beach in Mexico if you're a foreign national." So, do you want to touch on that a little bit?
Yeah, the area, 50 kilometers or 31 miles from the coastline, and 100 kilometers or 62 miles from any border, is called the restricted zone. So any foreigner buying can buy one of two ways. And Both ways are perfectly legal, perfectly safe. First, the most common way is through a bank-held trust called a fideicomiso. It's like a living trust in the United States. So you have the ability to use and enjoy, rent out, renovate, do whatever you want with your property. The bank just holds the piece of paper, and the bank has no control over your property. It's just a way for them to track foreign ownership.
Okay.
And the advantage of a fideicomiso is that you can name beneficiaries on the fideicomiso. So if something were to happen to the owner, say a couple of parents who should pass away as they get older, then the property can be passed down easily to their children or whoever they name as beneficiaries.
Okay.
The other way to purchase property in Mexico is to form a Mexican corporation, but that's usually for people who are going to open a business, own multiple properties, and in the long run, it's a lot more expensive than a fideicomiso bank trust.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, that's a simple version of clearing that up, because it is still a very large myth that Canadians cannot buy, or Americans cannot buy, near the beachfront. So, you know, that's great information there. So yeah. Now, what's the market like? How has it been the last few months here?
It's busy. It's booming. There's so many new developments, it's hard to keep track of them all. Now, this is mostly a market where people look to buy new stuff. So the development trends we're seeing in Playa del Carmen is the developers are buying used buildings and old land in downtown Playa del Carmen near Fifth Avenue, and they're tearing everything down and putting up new complexes. A lot of them are just studios because the land is expensive, and so they want to get as many units in the new complex as they can. The other development in Playa del Carmen is that on the other side of the highway, if anyone's ever been here, there's a federal highway that cuts right through the city. And on the other side of the highway, there's lots of land, it's cheap. And there are some new developments over there where you can get a 3-bedroom condo for under $200,000, 7 minutes on the beach, and with resort-like amenities. Now down in Tulum, there's a lot of land that was bought, say 5-6 years ago, and now that land is getting developed, and the developments in Tulum are getting closer and closer to the beach. You'll never see anything right on the beach in Tulum because it's protected, but the developments are getting closer to the beach all the time.
Excellent. That's great. That was a concern with Tulum. That's been some questions that have been asked, is that the beachfront is all sort of taken up with the big hotels and that kind of thing, and that there wasn't beach access, but there in fact is beach access without having to go to a beach club.
The law says that the beaches in Mexico are federal property. Now the hotels, especially in Cancun, don't let you walk through to go to the beach, but there are lots of public beaches to go to. Here in Playa del Carmen, as an example, I'm in a beach club for this particular property. There's another beach club about 200 yards away that is open to the public. And there's lots of beach clubs where you can get really not cheap, but very economical meals and drinks, and watch the crystal blue water of the Caribbean and see Cozumel off to the distance. In Tulum, it's really much more of a trendy place for people with disposable income in their 30s and 40s. A lot of people flying in from Dallas, Houston, Atlanta, Miami for the weekend, party hard all weekend, and then head out on Sunday night or Monday morning. Tulum has a lot of trendy beach clubs, a lot of great spas, a lot of very, very healthy food choices and things like that. So really, there's something for everyone somewhere in the Riviera Maya.
Okay, that's excellent. That's good stuff. So if you know, if somebody wanted to move down there, you know, full-time or part-time, sorry, and then just use their unit and rent out the rest of the time, how is the rental market there?
Well, it really depends on a number of factors. It depends on the amount of work that you want to do personally. If you want to manage all your rentals together and just have someone as a caretaker to take care of check-ins, check-outs, cleaning, and things like that, then it can be a great investment. You also, if that's not good for you, you would want to try to find a reputable property manager. And we can find and recommend them in Tulum and Playa del Carmen, ones that will do a good job for you to focus on making you money. So typically, if it's going to do well as an investment, you're looking at somewhere 8 to 10% return on investment if you have the right infrastructure in place and the right property manager who's working hard for you.
Right, right. That's a really good return. That's really hard to come by, you know, in most markets in Canada and the US right now. So, you know, it seems like it would be an excellent investment for sure.
I ran into a property manager last year at the end of high season. So it would have been April or May. And he told me, he's been here 14 years, 15 now, I guess. And he told me that last year was the busiest they've ever been. And just from being downtown Playa del Carmen over the last few days, we haven't even started high season yet, and it's busy. And this pool here at Mar Azul is busier today than I've ever seen it before, all the times I've come here to visit. So people want to come here, and like, you know, they don't seem too concerned about some of the things that people detract from. Like, you know, one thing is safety. And my opinion is, if you want to find trouble, you'll find it anywhere in the world. But here, I feel safer here than I did when I lived in Edmonton. And as long as you're not drunk outside in a bad part of town at 4 a.m, you should be fine. Granted, there is drug activity and things like that, but if you're not looking for it, you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, that's what I feel like too, is that, you know, it doesn't matter where you are, you have to err on the side of caution and, you know, not be involved with the wrong people at the wrong time or be in the wrong place at the wrong time. You know, and just keep your awareness about you and that kind of thing too. And that you would do downtown Vancouver or Surrey or Edmonton or, you know, cities in the US. I mean, that's just common sense stuff. Right. Sure. So
the other thing that's great is you learn where all the expats hang out. You learn the best restaurants that are kind of off the beaten path, where you can get a great meal at a very, very economical price compared to Vancouver, Seattle, Los Angeles. There are so many great dining choices in the Riviera Maya of just about every type of food. We have more Italian restaurants here than I've seen probably some cities in Italy. I don't know. But it's an awesome place that you can find whatever you want to eat. I was out the other night for the first time in a long time at a bar that just reopened called the Dirty Martini. And you can get a beer there for 40 pesos, $2 American. It was karaoke night. I sang On the Road Again, and first time in about 3 years doing it. But there's all expats hanging out there. In fact, I ran into one lady who I've met before, and we struck up a conversation. She pulled out the business card that I gave her 7 years ago when I was with another company. So
wow.
It's great. And then the beach clubs have live music sometimes. They're laid back. People are really chill all the time, and it's not that expensive to go out and have a nice meal.
Yeah, that's really what a lot of people are looking for. You know, people are missing going out and getting together with friends and that kind of thing. And you just in Canada and the US, I mean, you really have to watch what you're spending on a night out because it's so expensive now to go out for a meal.
Yeah, like I had, like, you know, COVID to me wasn't that bad here. I had it once, but it was very mild. And I think the reason for that is everything is outside. We eat outside, we gather outside, and it's not like being cooped up north in a closed-in restaurant with poor ventilation. So you know, those types of fears here, like, you know, the healthcare system here is fine. I haven't had any trouble. People are going to move here. There are insurance options. I'll tell you an interesting story. There's a lady from Austin, Texas, who worked a very high pressure insurance job and came over here on vacation to a place called Porto Aventuras. It's a gated community 15 minutes south of Playa del Carmen. Has a full service marina. She was sitting on the beach and she phoned her boss and said, I'm not coming back. So she went home, gathered all her things, and moved back here. And now she's operating a successful insurance business for expats from the beach, as opposed to being in an office in Austin, Texas.
That's excellent. That is excellent. And I just love this new world. I love that you and I can have a visit right here and share it with the rest of the world. I love that we can sell real estate virtually or insurance virtually or any of those things. We're not geographically confined to one space anymore.
No, it's so easy to connect with people and just the visuals that we can provide. And then people are much more comfortable when they come down to visit. I have a potential buyer coming in about 3 weeks. He's never been here, but he's already reserved a house in Tulum that's under construction. So that's the word of mouth that's getting around because it's just a fabulous place to live. Property taxes are low, 0.1% of your purchase price. So a $300,000 property, it'd be $300 a year. And the reason for that is we don't have snow removal, which is what I tell all Canadians. But
it's wonderful.
Yeah. So it is much cheaper living here. There has been some inflationary pressure, but nothing like people have seen in the US and Canada.
Yeah. No, and I think a lot of people are feeling like it's just time to get away from the grind. I mean, people are just grinding just to be able to afford the groceries for their families. So, making the move down to Mexico, there's just a better way of life, and when the sun is shining, everybody feels better.
300 days of sunshine a year. The water is always right around 80 degrees. People ask about hurricanes. There were none this year, 3 in the previous 2 years, but everything's built out of concrete. So nothing falls apart. There may be some water damage, but we've been very, very lucky in terms of bad weather here.
Yep.
And so that's another thing that makes it an attractive area. And property taxes, if you're going to consider buying in Florida or buying here, just the sheer property taxes money that you're going to save will probably allow you to buy a better place here than you could in Florida because you're paying thousands and thousands of dollars in taxes.
Right, exactly. And same at home in Canada. So yeah. What about schools in the area? Is it suitable to bring a family down?
Yes, there's an international school in Porto Aventuras. There's an England college, which will be like a high school here in Playa del Carmen. And there are lots of online opportunities and things like that. So yeah, I know my old sales manager came down here about 5 months before I did in 2015, and he had 2 young boys, and now his boys are close to being teenagers. They paddleboard, they surf, they play tennis. They're being schooled in a small little private environment. And my friend Mike and his wife, Elena, who are originally from Winnipeg, they are very, very happy and are enjoying everything about this life here in Mexico.
Great. That's great. That's really, I can't think of anything better. I'm on my way down. I'm coming down to buy.
I'll be here waiting.
Excellent. All right. Well, Gord, tell everybody how they can reach out to you if they want to know more about Mexican real estate.
Well, my name is Gordon MacAlpine, MacAlpine. So I'm on Facebook. I'm on Twitter as Realtor in Paradise.
Excellent.
I think I'm I'm on Twitter as Gordon in Playa. I'm on Instagram as Realtor in Paradise. I have my own Facebook page, Riviera Maya Investments. So just reach out to me and we'll get together with people anytime.
Okay. All right. That's excellent. We're going to share this everywhere so that people can understand that it's okay to buy in Mexico and live a better life?
Well, I look around where I am right now, and there's a lot of people who have just arrived for the winter, and they're relaxed. And the doctor, when I first went to get my prescriptions changed here, the doctor told me that when people come down from the north, they get like 10 years younger because they're much more active here than they would be back home, where you're most likely wanting to drive everywhere, where you can just about walk everywhere, depending on the property. And because it's warm and you sweat more, your blood pressure goes down. So people try to guess my age, and they always miss by 10 to 15 years. So we won't share that information, but I will if they ask me in private.
Right, exactly. Well, I'm looking forward to the Fountain of Youth and being there too.
Excellent.
Oh, that's great. Well, thank you so much, Gord. And I will share this everywhere so people know how to find you. And thanks so much for taking the time today.
I appreciate it, Shannon. Hasta luego.